Cognition and mental abilities. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to define important terms relevant to the understanding of the topic, identify and explain the different processes of cognition, gain knowledge on the different theories of intelligence, explain the value of reliability and validity in the assessment of intelligence, and expound the relationship between language and cognition. Cognition can be defined as the intellectual processes, such as perception, memory, thinking, and language, through which information is obtained, transformed, stored, retrieved, and used. Concepts are the basic units of thinking. It involves categories of things, events, and qualities that are linked together by a common feature or features in spite of their differences. Without concepts, we would be able to think only in terms of specific things and acts. Concepts allow us to process information in more general, efficient ways. In this way, concepts become the basic units of logical thinking. There are three types of concepts. First, conjunctive concepts. These are concepts defined by the simultaneous presence of two or more common characteristics. Example, the concept of aunt as a female and sibling of one of your parents. Second, disjunctive concepts. These are concepts defined by the presence of one of two common characteristics or both. Example, the concept of schizophrenic as defined by the presence of either or two characteristics or both. Third, natural concepts. Natural concepts are basic. A basic concept is one that has a medium degree of inclusiveness. Inclusiveness simply refers to the number of members included in the concept. Three levels of inclusiveness. Superordinate concepts are very inclusive. They contain many members. For example, vehicles is a superordinate concept that contains all of the many cars, boats, planes, wagons, and so on. Basic concepts are of medium degree of inclusiveness. Car is an example of a basic concept because it is less inclusive than the superordinate concept vehicles. Yet, this category still includes many members. Superordinate concepts are the least inclusive level of concepts. For example, the subordinate concept sports car includes far fewer members than the basic concept cars or the superordinate concept vehicles. What is problem solving? This is a mental process of finding an appropriate way to attain a goal when the goal is not readily available. Now let's go through the steps in problem solving. First, find and frame the problems. This involves asking questions in creative ways and seeing what others do not. The ability to recognize and frame a problem is difficult to learn. It involves being aware of and open to experiences. Develop good problem-solving strategies. Among the effective strategies are subgoals, algorithms, and heuristics. Evaluate solutions. This involves a clear criterion for the effectiveness of the solution. Rethink and redefine problems and solutions over time. Good problem solvers tend to be more motivated than the average person to improve on their past performances and to make contributions. Thinking includes the higher order mental processes of reasoning and decision making. Reasoning is the mental ability of transforming information to reach conclusions. Reasoning could either be inductive or deductive. Inductive reasoning involves reasoning from specific observations to make generalization. Deductive reasoning starts from a general case that we know to be true to a specific instance. Decision-making is the mental activity of evaluating alternatives and choosing among them. Making decision means weighing information and coming to some conclusions that we feel maximize our outcome. Critical and creative thinking. In this section, we will examine two skills associated with superior problem solving: critical thinking and creativity. Critical thinking means thinking reflectively and productively and evaluating the evidence. The cultivation of two mental habits is essential to critical thinking: mindfulness and open-mindedness. Mindfulness means being alert and mentally present for one's everyday activities. The mindful person maintains active awareness of the circumstances of his or her life. Open-mindedness is the state of being receptive to other ways of looking at things. Creative thinking refers to the ability to think about something in novel and unusual ways and to devise unconventional solutions to problems. Divergent thinking produces many solutions to the same problem, while convergent thinking produces the single best solution to a problem. Intelligence. Intelligence refers to the all-purpose ability to do well on cognitive tasks, to solve problems, and to learn from experience. How do we measure intelligence? Psychologists measure intelligence using tests that produce a score known as intelligence quotient, or IQ. To understand how IQ is derived, we should first examine the criteria for good intelligence tests: validity, reliability, and standardization. Validity refers to the extent to which a test measures what it is intended to measure. Reliability refers to the extent to which a test yields a consistent, reproducible measure of performance. While standardization is the development of uniform procedures for administering and scoring a test and the creation of norms or performance standards for the test. Intelligence quotient. Alfred Binet developed the concept of mental age, or MA, which is an individual's level of mental development relative to that of others. He reasoned out that a child of very low mental ability would perform like a normal child or a younger age. To think about a person's level of intelligence, then we might compare the person's mental age, or MA, to his or her chronological age, or ZA, or age from birth. A very bright child has an MA considerably above CA. A less bright child has an MA considerably below CA. William Stern, German psychologist, devised the term intelligence quotient, or IQ, in 1912. IQ consists of individuals' mental age divided by chronological age multiplied by 100. Extremes of intelligence. Giftedness. People who are gifted have high intelligence, an IQ of 130 or higher, and or superior talent in a particular area. Like intelligence, giftedness is likely a product of both heredity and environment. Intellectual disability. This is a condition of limited mental ability in which an individual has a low IQ, usually below 70, on a traditional intelligence test and has difficulty adapting to everyday life. Theories of intelligence. Sternberg's triarchic theory. Robert Sternberg developed this theory and said that intelligence comes in three forms: analytical intelligence, the ability to analyze, judge, evaluate, compare, and contrast. Creative intelligence, the ability to create, design, invent, originate, and imagine. While practical intelligence, the ability to use, apply, implement, and put ideas into practice. Howard Gardner's multiple intelligence says, Gardner suggests 9 types of intelligence or frames of mind. According to him, everyone has all of these intelligences to varying degrees. First, verbal. The ability to think in words and use language to express meaning. Example, author, journalist, speaker. Mathematical. The ability to carry out mathematical operations. Example, scientist, engineer, accountant. Spatial. The ability to think three-dimensionally. Example, architect, artist, sailor. Bodily kinesthetic. The ability to manipulate objects and to be physically adept. Example, surgeon, craftsperson, dancer, athlete. Musical. The ability to be sensitive to pitch, melody, rhythm, and tone. Example, composer, musician. Interpersonal, the ability to understand and interact effectively with others. Example, teacher, mental health professionals. Intrapersonal, the ability to understand oneself. Example, theologian, psychologist. Naturalist, the ability to observe patterns in nature and understand natural and human-made systems. Example, farmer, botanist, ecologist, landscaper. And last, existentialist, the ability to grapple with the big questions of human existence, such as meaning of life and death, with special sensitivity to issues of spirituality. Language and cognition. Language is a form of communication, whether spoken or written, or signed, that is based on a system of symbols. The connection between language and thought has been of considerable interest to psychologists. The following are some of the recent research findings on language and cognition. First, language helps us think, make inferences, tackle difficult decisions, and solve problems. Second, language is a tool for representing ideas. Third, language is a key feature of culture, and one of the ways psychologists study the link between language and cognition is by comparing cognitive reasoning across different culture. Neuroscience research has shown that the brain consists of particular regions that are predisposed to language use. According to Chomsky and many other language experts, the strongest evidence for language biological basis. According to Chomsky and many other language experts, the strongest evidence for language's biological basis is the fact that children all over the world reach language milestones at about the same time and in about the same order, despite vast variations in the language input they receive from their environments.